Hello guys and welcome. In today's video I would like to share with you my current critical strike chance slash damage build that I'm working on. It's not finished because there's a long way to go to truly min-max this build, but what I got so far I think is worth sharing. So with that being said, let's get started. The very first thing I would like to talk about is the abilities. We're going to be taking Fireball as our main basic attack, pretty much. We're not going to be touching Frostbolt, and also as a secondary basic attack, which is just like additional, would be the Curse. We will be explaining why later on. The second important ability is going to be Erupt. Then you got your utilities, which is Combustion and Cold Blast. And then your main damage dealers will be Pyroblast, Tornado, and Death Touch. And believe it or not, your sustain will be Worms and Leech, especially with the buff. I mean, I don't know why I said believe it or not, but it's truly believable. But anyway, that's your sustain. So with that said, I took the liberty to remove all the cards so I can show you specifically which cards are the ones we're going to be using. But before we move on to the cards, I need to explain to you how this works. So my build is heavily focused on critical strike chance and critical damage, right? Therefore, we are taking armor, a lot of it. Sorry, armor, what am I talking about? Sorry, leather, because it gives us that 8% critical strike chance. As you can see, it's not the best leather with the best attributes or anything. That's what I meant at the beginning, which this build can still be super min-max in the future. But since we're still early on the game, it doesn't really matter as much. Your goal is to get as much impact and as much precision as possible on your attributes, whether they're being secondary attributes or not, right? Like you want to make sure that you get that +5 precision, +5 precision, +5 impact, and so on and so on. This is that will definitely help you a lot. I got lucky with this cultist staff where I got +12 intelligence and 12 precision. The other two, might and maximum health, didn't really help, but you see where I'm going. Precision and impact. Precision is the one that gives you critical strike chance, and impact is the one that gives you damage. Also on the Ranger's Company, I will show you at the end, there is a couple of items that you want to aim for. That, well, that's what I am aiming for, right? As a trinket at the moment I'm using Gilles Desert Honey because it has this amazing passive that reduces all mana cost by 1, increasing by 1 every 3 levels, which is really freaking good. It gives you a lot of very nice mana sustain. And on the other hand, I have Sigil of the Sun, which before the nerf it was absolutely very strong, but now after the nerf I'm looking to change it for something else. I still haven't figured out what else, but I'm working on that. Now with that being said, and now understanding that our gear, as in the leather, armor, and everything else, is truly focused on trying to get as much critical strike chance and damage, we can move on to the cards. On Fireball, the card that we're going to be taking is called, come on, can I pick my card, or, oh, my bad. There we go. We're going to be taking Change Rate Hound. Reason being, because each non-critical hit of Fireball increases the critical strike chance of the next Fireball by a stacking 8%, lasting for 20 seconds and up to 5 stacks. New stacks refresh the duration, landing a critical strike chance. Critical strike with Firefall resets the critical strike chance back to normal. So that's why we're taking it. It does great synergy with what we're trying to do. Next is Erupt. Here we're gonna be taking targets affected by Erupt takes increased 18% critical damage bonus from skills. So for example, you can use Erupt, and right after that you use Pyroblast, and you can expect heavy damage. Like that is heavy damage right there. So that's why we're taking it. Erupt is a great initiator for any fight. It's super good, especially because it also adds dot damage. Erupt is such a good skill. If you don't know about it, I highly recommend to read the... in fact, we're gonna read it right now. Erupt deals 245 spell damage and applies 3 stacks of deep burning on the target. Now, if you have ether and you fired it with full ether, meaning 50 ether, you apply 1 additional deep burning stack per 10 ether, meaning that that's 5 additional stacks plus the 3 stacks at the beginning. That's 8 stacks of damage that you're gonna be adding, which is a lot. It's really worth it. Plus, it actually reduces the healing received by the enemy by 20%. So an absolutely monster of a skill, super strong, and does great synergy as well with Leech, Curse, and Worm, which is what we're gonna talk about after. Right. Next is Combustion. Combustion is your, what's the name? Your utility, and also a great second starter or follow-up to the starter. Right. In Combustion, we're gonna be using Goblin's Bomber. Sadly, I have the common one. I hope to get to upgrade it soon in the future. Haven't been lucky, but yeah, casting Combustion increases your critical damage bonus by 15% for 6 seconds. That's right. Imagine you throw Combustion, you stun the guy, you follow up with Erupt, and then Pyroblast, and you got yourself an absolute nasty combo right there, just right off the bat. Right. Next is Pyroblast. Pyroblast. We're going to be taking Draconic Pyromancer, because Pyroblast will always critical strike against targets above 85% health. That's why if you were to follow up with Combustion, then you go Pyroblast, then you go, Erupt, or you start with an Erupt, then Combustion, then Pyroblast. Like, you have something going on here that is definitely a lot of damage. And then we have Tornado. Here in Tornado, we are taking the Goblin Pyro. Every time a target is hit by Flame Tornado, you gain a stack of Burning Soul. Each Burning Soul stacks increases your critical strike chance by 0.6% for 6 seconds, up to maximum of 30 stacks. New stacks refresh the duration. We're taking it because Tornado and Cold Blast are they're just the most go together. Yeah, I mean, Cold Blast has a literally almost 5 seconds CC, right? So if you apply the Cold Blast on somebody and then drop the Tornado on them, you're just stacking your critical strike chance as much as possible. And while they're a CC and getting hit by the Tornado, you just attack with everything else, and they should get just blown up into smitherness, right? The other abilities on Frost, I don't really use them. Maybe I have used Frost Cryomancer now and then a little bit, and I chose the what's the name? The Frost Shards, and I just used the Cryomancer card, which increases each hit the damage by 5% or something like that. I'm not used the other ones much. The only other one that I actually use is Lurking Shadow, that after teleporting you get a surge of magic, increasing your spell power by 11%. This is the teleport ability. And I'm still in conflict on whether I want to apply the Frostlands, because I apologize, I'm talking too fast. Because he has this card that if Frostlands critical strikes, resets its cooldown, increasing the critical damage multiplier of Frostlands by 21%. It sounds great. I just personally don't like the animation. Frostlands is such a weird animation. I don't like it. Anyway, that's what I'm working on Wizard. On the other hand, in Witchcraft, which is what I would like to call like a support, what's the name? Archetype from Wizard, I'm taking Curse. In Curse, I am taking the Hog Cultist, which now deals 6% more damage each tick from the previous one, which basically just makes your curse stronger. Then your curse is basically gonna be that something that you add in the middle of the fight. If you see that the fight is going on for too long, the guy is tanking all your shots from your main like damage dealing process, you throw in your curse there, like in secret, you will say, like you just throw it in there, because at some point the enemy is going to be low enough that you finish him off with Death Touch, right? Death Touch is such a strong ability. Anyway, then you use your Leech. Here Leech is actually super freaking good. You're going to be taking Vampire Necromancer, which when below 60% health, Leech now heals you for 35% more. So it's definitely a great card to have, and a lot of what's the name? Sustain. It gives you a lot of sustainability. It keeps you alive pretty much, but it keeps you alive even more if you use it with, I forgot the name, Shackles of Pain. Why? Because Shackles of Pain, if you use it, Shackles of Pain, and apply the Salt Dust Blood Mage, while Shackles of Pain is active on the target, Leech and that's exactly the ability we were talking about. Leech and Siphon ticks have an increased 25% effectiveness, so it's definitely good to have it. So long story short, you put your Shackles of Pain, your Leech is going to be more effective, therefore more healing. And finally, we are taking Worms. Here in Worms, we're going to be... I'm actually not taking really Worms because of that. I am taking more Worms because of its main ability, which consumes 3 of your damage over time skills on the target, dealing 50% of the remaining damage and snaring them for 1.5 seconds. But more importantly, it heals you for 75% of the remaining damage, or double against players. So I would like to show you a demonstration of worms. How will that work? So for example, I have my Shackles of Pain, Leech, Erupt, Worms, and my Curse, right? So if I were to let this guy hit me, right? I want him to hit me a little bit so you can see the healing that Worms can do. If you stack Curse, Erupt, and Leech together, that's 3 damage over time abilities that you can actually get a lot from, right? So I'm gonna stack the 3 of them, and then I'm gonna heal myself. You saw that 1,700 heal. Like, the sustain is absolutely insane with that combination, because it's Curse, Erupt, and Leech. If you throw them right away and then immediately go for Worms, there's a lot of damage left to be done from the 3 dots. Therefore, the healing power you're gonna get is crazy. You heal up in a crazy amount, right? Now let's go ahead and do another quick little demonstration. Let's go with combustion and immediately to pyroblast, and you saw that critical damage right there, 1,300, but we can do that even better, right? So let's go ahead, and the next combo, let's do combustion, or much better, erupt into combustion into pyroblast, right? And let's find a target that we can do this on. All right, there we go. So like I said, we're gonna start with erupt, combustion, pyroblast. 1,374. Well, the critical, the impact was not that great, but I think you see what I'm going for. It's such a shame that when trying to show an example, the examples don't really work. But I think you see where we're heading with this whole build. It's a lot of fun. You can do AoE pulls, you can do a lot of single target damage, you can do a lot of really cool things with it, and I am truly enjoying it. And if you feel like you're not doing enough damage, for example here, let's say that we kill this guy quickly, whatever, and then this guy is still alive, you know, you do a little bit of damage, you put in your curse, right, and then you just finish him off with your death touch. You see that 1,553 damage right there, just with your death touch, right? It might not sound like a lot, but for example, the highest crit damage I have seen during streaming and everything, like engaging targets, was 2,600 damage, which was pretty nasty, critical right there. I was pretty freaking impressed, and I was very happy with the results. Anyhow, I am truly enjoying this build, and I am looking forward to mix-maxing it in the future, something I really want to do. As of right now, I feel like the build is still not on its peak, and I'm sure I can make it even better. But before we go, let me take you to the Rangers Company, what's the name, store, so I can show you a couple of items that I believe they're gonna be great synergy for this build. So now we're here with the on Rangers Company. We're gonna go ahead and talk with this guy and go to the prestige store. I am trying to push to Hunter, because here in Hunter there's 2 items I want. The first one is Sorcerer's Ring, that increases my intelligence by 18 and mana regeneration by 10. I just want that. I just like that 18 intelligence. I think it's a great bonus. But more importantly, there is a ring that increases my attack power, precision, and impact by 10. Hunter's Pendant right here. It's not a ring, it's an amulet, and I think this will be a great replacement from my Sigil of the Sun. So that is giving me 10 precision plus 10 impact plus 10 attack power. I truly believe it's 100% worth it, and I will be definitely taking it as soon as I can. Well, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you find some value in what I'm trying to create here. If you think you have a better idea or a better way to improve the build, feel free to leave it on the comment section below. If you think I have a terrible idea what I'm doing, if you think it's horrible, feel free to dislike and leave hate comments. You're more than welcome. Any form of engagement is good engagement, and I truly do appreciate that. So with that being said, I'm Tote Torres. and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.